All right, ready for a deep dive into the world of boxing legends.
Always ready for a good scrap. Let's do it.
Today we're talking about a name synonymous with victory, Joe Calzaghe.
Ah, the Italian dragon. Now, there was a fighter who knew a thing or two about winning.
Undefeated, for those who don't know. We're going deep into his Wikipedia page to see what made him so dominant.
46 fights, 46 wins, multiple titles. That kind of record doesn't just happen, you know.
Yeah, you don't just stumble into that kind of legacy.
Exactly. This is a guy who held the WBO super middleweight title for over a decade.
Over a decade. Think about the kind of dedication, discipline, and sheer willpower that takes.
Not to mention the talent. But let's go back to the beginning, shall we?
Let's rewind. Born in London. Right. Italian father, Welsh mother. Not your typical boxing origin story.
Not at all. It's a fascinating mix, actually. Speaks to the global influences you see throughout his life.
So how does a kid with that background end up a boxing legend? Where does it even start?
Well, funny enough, young Joe was actually a football fanatic early on.
Football, huh? So we've got a natural athlete on our hands. But how does that passion translate to the boxing ring?
Well, the story goes that it all changed with a simple gift. A children's boxing toy.
A boxing toy. Talk about a turning point.
Uh?
What do you make of that shift from team sports to the solitary intensity of boxing?
It's an interesting question, isn't it? I think it speaks to his drive, his independent spirit. You see that throughout his career. I mean, 4 schoolboy ABA titles.
Don't forget the 3 consecutive senior British ABA titles.
Right. The guy was a natural, even then. But here's the thing, and this might surprise some folks, he actually lost twice as an amateur.
Twice. You're kidding. The guy who seemed practically unbeatable later on.
It's true. It makes you wonder, did those early losses light a fire in him? You know, fuel that incredible winning streak?
It's like a movie montage waiting to happen, from setbacks to superstardom.
Ah.
And speaking of superstardom, let's talk about that professional debut.
Oh, now we're getting to the good stuff. 13 wins in just over a year.
Most of them by knockout, no less.
He came out swinging, literally. Raw power, speed, those unorthodox angles he was famous for.
But it wasn't just brute force.
Yeah.
The guy was a technician in the ring.
Absolutely. You could see that from his early fights. When he beat Steven Wilson for the British super middleweight title, that's when people really took notice.
Undefeated Steven Wilson, gone in the 10th round.
Calzaghe wasn't just winning, he was making a statement. And the critics, they started taking notice too.
Even Barry McGuigan was singing his praises. Said Calzaghe punches ferociously, moves superbly, and has the best of the European technique and U.S. aggression. High praise from a legend himself.
And he was spot on. Calzaghe was this unique blend of styles, unpredictable, exciting, and utterly captivating to watch.
Part of that was that southpaw stance, right? For those of us who wouldn't know a jab from a hook, break that down for us a little. What makes it so advantageous?
Well, think about it. Most boxers are right-handed. They train to fight other righties.
Right, makes sense.
So when you're up against a southpaw, everything's mirrored. Their lead foot's opposite yours, their power punches come from unexpected angles, throws your timing off, your footwork, your whole game plan.
So it's not just a physical advantage, it's a mental one too. Gets in their head before the first bell even rings.
Exactly. And Calzaghe, he used that to his advantage, believe me. Controlled the pace, the distance, everything. It was a thing of beauty to watch.
A thing of beauty that could turn into a brawl pretty quickly, especially when you consider some of his opponents.
Oh, trust me, we're about to get into some legendary fights.
Next up, we're talking about the fight that put Calzaghe on the map. The showdown with Chris Eubank. Now, that's a fight I would have paid good money to see.
Oh, it was electric. The atmosphere was unbelievable. You had Eubank, this 2-time WBO champion, the showman.
Versus Calzaghe, the up-and-comer, the technician.
And the vacant WBO super middleweight title right there for the taking. Everyone wanted to know who would come out on top.
High stakes, big names. What more could you ask for?
It was a classic matchup, you know? And from the first bell, you could tell Calzaghe was not intimidated. Not one bit.
Really? Even going up against someone like Eubank.
Calzaghe, he had this way about him, you know, this quiet confidence. He dictated the pace right from the start. Used that jab to keep Eubank at bay.
Smart move. Keep the pressure on.
Exactly. And then, bam, knocks him down in the first round.
No way. Eubank. The guy's got a chin of granite.
Everyone thought so. But Calzaghe, he found a way. That first round knockdown, it sent shockwaves through the boxing world.
I bet. So what happened? Did Eubank get back up?
Oh, he got up, but Calzaghe kept the pressure on. He went on to win by unanimous decision. But that knockdown, that was a statement. He wasn't just there to compete. He was there to dominate.
He proved he could hang with the best of them.
Absolutely. But here's the thing about Calzaghe. He never let the wins go to his head.
He always seemed to have respect for his opponents.
Exactly. Like, even after that fight, he acknowledged Eubank's toughness, sportsmanship alongside the knockout power. That was Joe Calzaghe.
A true champion in and out of the ring. But I'd imagine not every fight was a walk in the park, right?
You're telling me, you ever hear about the Robin Reed fight?
Rings a bell. That one got a little controversial, didn't it?
Oh, understated. It went to a split decision in Calzaghe's favor, but a lot of people thought Reed had it.
Really? I hadn't heard that.
Some even say it was the closest he ever came to losing in his professional career.
Well, I'm going to have to go back and watch that one. But it's even crazier, right? Didn't he injure himself during that fight?
Yeah, fractured his hand. Can you imagine?
Talk about fighting through pain.
Talk about a testament to his willpower. And he didn't let it slow him down.
Yeah.
Went on to defend that title again and again. Remember Mario Veit?
Vaguely. Refresh my memory.
Undefeated German fighter, everyone thought he was the real deal. Calzaghe knocked him out in the first round.
You're kidding. First round.
Just like that. A display of pure power, speed, everything Calzaghe was known for.
He was unstoppable.
Almost. You know, he did get knocked down in that fight against Byron Mitchell.
Wait, really? I don't remember ever seeing Calzaghe hit the mat.
Second round, flat on his back. But you want to know what's even more impressive?
What's that?
He got back up and won by knockout in the same round.
No way. That's the mark of a true champion right there.
Absolutely. If we're talking unification bout has to be up there.
Oh man, Lacey. He was supposed to be the next big thing, right?
The next Mike Tyson, everyone said. Young, hungry, powerful. They called him Left Hook Lacey.
Didn't Calzaghe absolutely dominate that fight?
Controlled it from start to finish. Unified 3 super middleweight titles that night. I remember people were chanting easy at Lacey in the later rounds.
Oh man, that's brutal.
It was like a coronation. Calzaghe cemented his place as one of the best in the world that night. And to think this was all at super middleweight.
He was just getting started.
Right. Next thing you know, he decides to move up to light heavyweight. Can you believe that?
After all he'd accomplished. That's gutsy.
The guy was fearless. And who does he set his sights on? Only 2 guys named Bernard Hopkins and Roy Jones Jr.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
2 absolute legends. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it.
He beat them both.
No way.
Hopkins by split decision, his first ever fight on U.S. soil, no less. And then Jones Jr. by unanimous decision.
The Italian dragon conquers America. What a story.
The stuff of legends. But even legends hang up their gloves eventually, and when Calzaghe did...
He did it undefeated, on his own terms.
46-0. It's almost unheard of. It's a record that'll be tough to beat, that's for sure. But Calzaghe, he wasn't content to just, sit back and admire his trophies.
The guy was practically allergic to retirement, wasn't he?
You could say that. He had that fire, that passion for boxing, even after hanging up the gloves.
So when he just, opened a boxing gym, became a commentator?
He did more than that. Formed his own promotional company, actually.
No kidding. What was it called? Like Calzaghe's Champions or something?
Calzaghe Promotions. Simple, straight to the point. Ran it with his dad, Enzo.
Oh, it's nice. Keeping it in the family.
It was a true family affair. And it shows you how much boxing meant to him, even after all those years in the ring. He wanted to give back, nurture new talent.
A mentor to a new generation of fighters.
Exactly. But it wasn't all about boxing either. He used his platform to speak out against bullying, too.
Really? That's pretty cool.
He'd been bullied as a kid, you see.
Ah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So he knew how important it was to use his voice to help others.
Exactly. Always willing to stand up for what he believed in and out of the ring.
Sounds like he really embraced life after boxing.
Oh, absolutely. Didn't he even trade his boxing trunks for dancing shoes at one point?
Wait, are we talking about the same Joe Calzaghe here?
The one and only. He was on Strictly Come Dancing.
Get out of here. No way.
Swear it. And he even scored a goal in that Soccer Aid charity match a few years back.
Okay, you're messing with me, right?
Yeah.
The guy was a natural-born athlete, wasn't he?
What can I say? The man had talent. But more importantly, he knew how to enjoy himself.
Sounds like it. So as we wrap up this deep dive into the life of Joe Calzaghe, what's the one thing you hope our listeners take away from his story?
For me, it's that Joe Calzaghe's story is a reminder that greatness isn't a destination. It's a journey. It's about pushing boundaries, defying expectations, and never backing down from a challenge. He wasn't just a champion in the ring. He was a champion in life.
And he proved that with hard work, determination, and a little bit of that Welsh fire, anything is possible. Well said. Thanks for joining me on this incredible journey through the life of Joe Calzaghe, the Italian dragon, a true legend of the ring. And to our listeners, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and who knows, maybe you'll uncover the next hidden gem in the world of sports history. Until next time, this has been The Deep Dive.